First of all, congratulations for the film. I really liked it. It's very tough. It's very true. And I wanted to start with a question about the way you directed Zyla Farmer. Is it the right pronunciation? Okay, because she's great in the film, and there's also this atmosphere of improvisation, and I mean it sounds very real, very not you don't sound like actors.
No, we she was amazing. The improvisational style is born out of the fact that we never shared a script with her, and even though we wrote a script and had a script for the film, all of her scenes were never built or constructed around her saying any particular lines. We developed this system where Celine would wear an earpiece
small,
so that when she was sort of in a scene with Shayla,
but the camera's more focused on Shayla, or like it's Shayla's coverage.
Yeah.
That Logan would just communicate with me and say, "Oh, camera issue. That was such a great action from Shayla. Let's have her redo it." So we did Shayla's coverage first, and then I knew what I was reacting to, or whoever was acting against Shayla knew what they were reacting to. And then we had the double in there who would just stand. And so you just had to act to either like a coat hanger with a wig, the double with a wig, another crew member with a wig, or whoever was available to wear the wig. Because Shayla has such specific hair, we weren't able to find a double that looked like her. But beyond that aspect of filming with Shayla, we also worked with her for a full year before we shot.
Yeah.
We had financing for the film fall through, and we ended up casting for the role of Little months prior. And so we met Shayla May 2018, and we shot April and May 2019. So we just got really close with her family when financing fell through. We had just all developed this relationship, and so we really fought to make the film within this time limit so Shayla could still be believably play a 5-year-old.
It's kind of like half fiction and half documentary in a way. I mean, what did the script look like? Because watching the film, the only scene that to me sounds like it was written, it's not in a bad way, but it sounds like it was written, is when you go to Leslie's apartment, and that's a more canonical movie.
Yeah.
Okay. But the parts with, of course, with Shayla and and other parts of the film look like and sound like a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's just what we were going for. We just knew we sort of thinking about where the film gets to as far as following Nikki around on the subway. We knew that was sort of where the climax was. It's this chaotic camera work. You're running through the subway, and we knew that we were never going to be able to film that in a very stylized, hyper, cinematic, well-framed way. We wanted it to feel totally chaotic. You didn't know what was going to happen.
But also Fatlip, who plays John, he's also a first-time actor.
Mm-hmm.
So out of our 4, and also I'm kind of I'm not a professional actor. We both have drama degrees from NYU, which is where we met, but we never had any serious acting careers. Mm-hmm. So really our only actor was Jared Abrahamson, who plays Les. And even this is very early in his career. So I guess we didn't have anyone who was looking for a very traditional set, which really led to this kind of improvisational style.
How do you split your duties on set?
Well, in our short films, Logan has acted in a few. We've always co-directed, and we both have not acted in some of them too. So for this one in particular, we felt like it was important, because our lead actress is a little girl, for there not to be a middleman. So to put someone else in the role of Nikki felt like a disservice to the film, where I could continue going and continue moving Shayla in certain directions to build out a world for her beyond just playing pretend. She loves to play pretend, but having a director in that role suddenly felt very important to us. It worked really well in our short film, Caroline, that was nominated for a Palme d'Or, the short film Palme d'Or at Cannes in 2018. where I also played the mom for the same exact purpose. It stars a 6-year-old, and we did that same work through where I was really directing the little girl more than anything.
And it's because of that trust that gets cultivated over, like, we knew Shayla for over a year before we started filming, and it's the same for the child actors in Caroline. You establish that sense of trust and that organic, believable relationship by spending so much time with the kid and understanding what makes them tick, and so that you can pull those things out of them. And when they're looking to you, realistically, because they trust, so it was very important to us to really cultivate that relationship with Shayla and not put another actress in that spot, because it would have made the process of, again, these really, really long takes, it would have made a much more stop, start, and go process. But because, Celine's such a great actress and knows and understands the character of Nikki already so intuitively, both of us were able to collectively focus on Shayla, as opposed to... She's
the most important part.
Yeah.
But also we do operate in this way where we just do a lot of pre-pro. So we shot list, obviously, everything. We storyboard everything. Our cinematographer has worked with us for 3 years now on all of our projects. He knows our style. He knows what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And we just spend a lot of time in prep. And so when we get on set, we do tell our crew that you can approach either one of us and we will have the same answer. We will have the same, we know what movie we're making from the get-go.
Yeah.
I feel like the film is about a selfish person who in the end learns to do something selflessly for another person. Do you agree with that?
I think selfish is intense, but I do think that she's acted in ways that I don't know if a viewer can look at them and say, oh yeah, that was definitely a good choice. But I think that she's been a victim herself to a system, obviously I have this big backstory for her of how she got hooked on opioids. And I think that, obviously there are hundreds of stories of people in the United States who were prescribed back medication, and because we don't have a national healthcare system, like, things have fallen through and suddenly they're addicted to heroin. And that's a normal story here now. So I think that these stories are affecting a lot of Americans, peripherally or directly. And so I think that, yes, her choices are selfish, but I think that she is also a victim.
In the last few years, I've seen more and more American films that are trying to, explore the B side of the American dream.
I feel like we naturally find ourselves drawn to characters that are like on the fringes of society. Never,
rarely, sometimes always. Like, there are movies that came out this year that explore that dream.
Definitely, yeah. And I guess maybe I think about it more as, like, even in the early 90s or 2000s, like maybe before 9/11 or something. But yeah, you were seeing more American films that were sort of idolizing this American dream, and we were looking at this vision of, like, American family units, or so I can see us culturally moving away from that and wanting to explore this underbelly. It's really just that, it's stories that don't get that attention. So it's definitely in reaction to the films that we've all grown up seeing when we were really young. Mm-hmm. Just like what Celine said, it's like, it's something that we haven't seen before. Like, what are the stories that haven't been told?
But we also, just one other quick thing, we did make 2 documentary pieces when we were preparing for Topside. We haven't lived the life of Nikki or Little, and so we just wanted to make sure we were actually doing justice to this community. One of our docs was supposed to premiere at South by this year, and the other one we're still editing.
Yeah, it's just, we spoke
on homelessness.
We spoke to dozens of people on the street, these really, really long interviews, because we just wanted to immerse ourselves in what street homelessness can feel like in New York. And so was talking to all these people, and we just found that the conversations had a lot of merit onto themselves. So we recorded them and turned them into these doc pieces. But it was all in this desire to just very much feel like we were hearing real stories from people, you know, and not just sort of looking at these issues from a very surface perspective.
Or romanticizing them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was not something we were
And so
interested in.
the fiction of the story, it's pulled from all these very, very, you know, real truths that we've heard from like over hundreds of people. And I think that's part of why so many aspects of the film remain so ambiguous, because we didn't want to ever be painting in really broad strokes and sort of casting opinions on, you know, the choices that people make or how people are living. It was always about sort of retaining that gray area within human nature, you know, not being so black and white.